Welcome to today's online information session. We'll get started with the session in about 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, I wanted to welcome everyone to today's information session for our newly updated certificate program in facilities management here at UC Berkeley Extension. I wanted to thank everyone for taking time out of your busy schedules to learn more about our program. Berkeley Extension has proudly offered a program in facilities management for nearly 25 years. And we're very pleased to have the opportunity to outline our newly upgraded certificate program and talk about all of its benefits with everyone today. My name is David Brotherton, and I'm the program director for our facilities management program. In addition to our facilities management program, I also manage many other related programs like our construction management, HVAC, and environment-based programs as well. So we'll go ahead and get started. So the agenda today, we'll have an overview of UC Berkeley Extension, and this will be especially helpful for those who are new to Extension and who haven't taken courses with us in the past. We'll then spend some time discussing the certificate program itself, its structure, the required and elective courses, how to register and complete the program. And we're also fortunate to have a longtime and esteemed instructor, Steve Greenwood, joining us today. So we'll hear more from him about the courses he teaches, what to expect in the classroom, discuss the value of our program for students' careers. And Steve has a bit of a unique perspective because not only has he taught with us for more than 8 years, but he's also previously completed the program, so he can speak to our program from multiple perspectives. At the end, we'll dedicate some time to your specific questions, but at any time during the presentation, please feel free to type and submit any questions to us. We'll either answer them at the end of the session, or one of my colleagues will respond directly to your question. Our programs and curriculum are academically rigorous. All of our programs are approved by UC Berkeley and are reviewed every 5 years with an advisory board. And this board is comprised of a Berkeley campus faculty member, in addition to numerous executive level professionals and industry thought leaders. And just like main campus, we are accredited by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. And all students who complete programs, certificate programs, at Berkeley Extension must achieve a C or better in all academic coursework and must finish with at least a 2.5 grade point average in order to gain a certificate. So now we'll shift more and discuss the program for the remainder of our time. As many of you are aware, the Bay Area is experiencing a construction boom. The recent regional employment figures in the construction sector show very rapid growth. The construction boom, this also bodes well for facilities professionals, because as more of these corporate campuses, commercial high-rises, hospitals, as many more of these are built, they often have advanced building technology systems, and they need facilities professional to manage these high-value assets. And looking over the longer term, the data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, these projections suggest that the facilities industry overall will continue to perform well in the Bay Area. And that's because if you look at a sector-by-sector analysis of the industries that are set to do well over the coming decade, these are sectors like IT, financial services, healthcare, higher education. These are all sectors that the Bay Area emphasizes. And there's also going to be continued employment opportunities for facilities managers as more of the baby boomer generation retires. This will provide more opportunities for existing professionals to advance. And a certificate from a prestigious institution like UC Berkeley Extension could most definitely set you apart from other candidates as you advance and look for those new jobs. Given the diverse nature of the field of facilities management, our program is designed to provide educational breadth across all these many important foundational areas. And these include the essential topics like operations and maintenance, organizational strategy, leadership and management, risk and business continuity, real estate. So depending on the focus of your current or future position, you may find it necessary to expand your knowledge in other areas like project or construction management. So these skills that we offer will allow you to develop the knowledge and choose the classes that fit your needs, your educational needs best as you finish the certificate program. And all of the content within our required courses and our elective courses are consistent with the 11 competencies that are recognized by the International Facilities Management Association. At the heart of the design of our certificate program, it's really to allow you to choose and customize the content that is most valuable for you, both in your current position and for those types of topics that you think you'll need as you progress throughout your career. So we offer students a choice to select any 4 core courses from a list of 6. Then you may choose your electives from a list of 20 different courses. So this flexibility is embedded because we think it's really valuable that when students come into our program, they sometimes come from many different industries with many different levels of professional experience. And we recognize that the industry itself requires a diverse array of skills and responsibilities. So if you're a facilities manager who works in a data center or a pharmaceutical lab or a heavy equipment manufacturer, you might require expertise in different areas. So with our program, you'll have the choice to develop the skills that you need most. And these could include space planning or project management or business communications or budgeting and finance. So we offer a wide array of electives, which we'll talk about a little bit more momentarily. And our certificate programs focus more on learning instead of training. We use case studies in the classroom, discussions. You'll learn from other students in the classrooms as well as our instructors. And our instructors are all practitioners with decades of experience, so you'll draw on a wealth of their experience as well as your classmates as you discuss real-world examples in the classroom. And while our program, you'll find out all the foundational knowledge that is contained within some of the curriculum for IFMA's certified facilities manager or BOMA's facilities management administrator credentials, but our courses are not designed specifically to teach to any of these tests and these credentials. So I just wanted to kind of make that clear. Our courses and programs are open for enrollment, and there's no formal application process. So we encourage everyone to simply start with a course, see if the program's right for you before you actually formally enroll into the program. And we'll discuss this formal enrollment process a little later in the presentation. And I would definitely encourage everyone to speak to your supervisor or your HR representative to ask about your company's educational and training benefits packages. We've found that most students in our program either receive full or partial reimbursement for their classes from their employers. The program itself is comprised of 4 required courses and 75 hours of electives. Non-academic credit courses or CU courses may also be used for a portion of your elective requirements. And we'll discuss the core and elective courses a little bit in more detail in the coming slides. So in total, our program is comprised of 195 hours of total classroom instruction, and this is typically between 6 or 8 courses. And while there are no formal prerequisites, we find that most students have either prior professional experience in the facilities industry or undergraduate degrees. And again, these are not prerequisites, just a recommendation. And if you register for the program, you'll have 5 years to complete the program. But although most of our students will take 1 course per term, and that allows them to complete the program in about 2 years. And here are a list of all of our core courses. Again, you may select any 4 from this list of 6. And these courses can be completed in any order. But if you're new to the industry and you don't have a significant amount of professional experience, we would recommend that you begin with the Introduction to Facilities Management course. And while you're only required to take 4 of these core courses, if you decided you wanted to take more than 4, you're welcome to do so, and those additional courses can be counted towards your elective requirements. And our featured instructor, Steve Greenwood, he'll talk more about some of the classes he teaches here momentarily. And all of our core courses are 2-semester units, which equates to 30 instructional hours in the classroom. We have arranged all of the electives on our website, and I would welcome everyone to visit there. And they're categorized by the areas of emphasis. So we have various electives in the following areas: in facilities management, construction, business-related elective courses, project management, and sustainability courses. So depending on what areas you'd like to take courses, we have a wide array to select from. You'll need to complete 75 hours in total, and electives can be comprised of 3 academic credit courses or any combination of academic courses and up to 39 hours of CEU courses. And I'd encourage everyone to visit our program page and look through those requirements a little bit closer. We offer several of our business classes are in a CEU workshop format. So if you wanted to take a class, for example, in business negotiation, you might just want to take a one-day class that's comprised of 0.8 CEUs. And every course on our website will include a course description, and further information is available. If you want even more information about the course, feel free to contact our department directly, and we'll give all that contact information at the end of the presentation. You'll also have the option to customize your elective courses beyond the 20 that are listed on the website. So if you prefer to do this, you'll actually need to send a formal request to our department for approval. So if there's a specific area, if you want to take additional HVAC courses that aren't listed on the program page as electives, it's still an option to take those courses. You just have to get approval ahead of time. Our instructional format includes mainly ground-based course, but we also do offer some online courses. In the instance where a course is offered both online and in the classroom, you can select whichever option you prefer. And most of the online courses that are available are elective courses within the project management area. Classes are held in all of our classroom centers in Berkeley, Belmont, and our San Francisco campus. Our Berkeley Center and San Francisco campus are conveniently located to utilize public transportation. Both are just located a couple blocks from BART stations. Our center in Berkeley is close to our downtown Berkeley BART, and our San Francisco center is about a block and a half from the Embarcadero BART station. And if you choose to take courses at our Belmont Center, we offer ample free parking there as well. Courses are typically scheduled the same weeknight each week from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. over a 5 to 10 week period. It really just depends on the length of the course itself. We also offer weekend courses, and these typically run all day on Saturday, between 2 to 4 weekends long, and occasionally we'll also hold courses on Sunday as well. And as I mentioned before, some of our continuing education unit or CEU workshop-based courses will typically last 1 to 2 days in an all-day format. And now I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce our featured instructor. Steve Greenwood has been teaching with Berkeley for more than 8 years and has over 20 years of diverse industry experience. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and hand off to Steve.
Good afternoon. I think I'll just take you through a little bit. I was, as David said, I was fortunate enough to actually attend Berkeley for this certificate, and then once I completed it and had a lot more industry experience, I came as an instructor. But at the beginning, I found myself kind of in the same boat that you were in, looking around. I was looking to work in facilities, and I said, well, how do I get into facilities? And so this program was made available to me as a foundation of work for my career in facilities, and so it's a very good foundation program. I like the fact that it's college education, and so it's sort of useful every place you go, vis-a-vis industry credentials, where they're useful wherever they're accepted. As you said, I've been teaching for almost 10 years now. Started off with a class, and I've worked my way up to 5. So I teach operations and maintenance, strategic planning, technology, risk and business continuity, and real estate. The way the classes are sort of structured are, we certainly cover the topics, but to make the classes rich, we talk about a lot of real-world experiences. So the other instructors and myself, we work every day in this field, so we bring our experiences to the table. And then the students as well, because they're mostly working professionals, they're working someplace, and so as we're talking about the topics, We a lot of times get, well, it's different where I'm working. And so then we talk about it. So we really get a very diverse topic stream going. And so it won't be, I typically don't have any student leave the class at the end of the class and say, well, it wasn't really applicable to me, because you've had the opportunity. We're going to talk about it. If what we're talking about is how it is where you work, then we're talking about it. And if it's not, then you should be bringing it up, and then we'll talk about it in the classroom. So we explore that richness in the classes. And so it's not a typical, sit there and listen to somebody lecture on and on and on. You take a test and you're done. We really talk about what's going on in the world. We stay, as practitioners, we're constantly being pushed to stay abreast of things. And so we're not talking about things that happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. We're talking about current technologies, where we're going today, and those kinds of things. So I think that is...
Yeah, that sounds good. We can go ahead and we'll open it up to Q&A, and Steve can speak more to some of the questions that come up. So thank you very much, Steve. And moving on to the frequently asked questions. One question that comes up quite frequently inquires about whether you can take the courses in any order. And I mentioned that a little bit earlier in the presentation and said, yes, you can absolutely take the courses in any order. If you're new to the industry or you have limited industry experience, we recommend you start with the introductory course. But it's also worth noting here that you don't even have to start with the core classes. You could absolutely start with an elective course. So if there's a specific elective course you wanted to take first, yeah, you can take the courses in any order. Another typical question that we field asks, like, what are typical students who make up our certificate program? And this is one, since Steve teaches so many of our classes and has seen our students year in and year out, I think this is a good one for him to tackle.
Yeah, we actually get a very broad spectrum of students. We get folks that are certainly facility managers already, property managers. They usually, in a lot of cases, they'll already have bachelor's degrees. In many cases, they'll have master's degrees. And we also get folks that are in facilities but really have no education and training. Their company says, hey, here's a set of responsibilities we want you to do. And they kind of go, wait a minute, I'm not sure what this is. And then we get folks that are maybe in a related or a sort of a stovepipe field. They might be doing a little bit of project management, or they're a security guard or something like that. And they go, man, this facility thing looks pretty interesting. And so we get kind of the broad spectrum in the class. And so everything from folks who are already doing it and they're looking to get that cutting edge, to folks who just say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, or this is a new set of responsibilities, or it looks really cool. I know people who are doing facilities and I want to get in there. So it really is a very broad spectrum of students in almost every single class.
Wonderful. Yeah, and to kind of add on, from some of the students that I've interviewed who were within the program, whenever we made the recent program changes, I had the opportunity to interview a dozen or so past and present students. And it's interesting, we get a big mix. There are folks who have been in the industry for 20 plus years and take the program and get a lot of value from it. So you'll see people not only in diverse industries, but also at various points within their career. And we see that same pattern even in other programs like construction management, HVAC. We see people across the spectrum, from relatively new to the industry to has significant levels of experience. And that actually creates that richness in the classroom and is one of the assets of our program. Another question deals with how long it takes to complete the certificate. We mentioned earlier that it typically takes students 2 years if they take one course per term, which is the normal path. You'll have up to 5 years from the time that you register for the certificate, so that gives flexibility to any individuals if you have a life event that happens, or you have to take some period of time where you can't take courses. So you'll have flexibility. If you wanted to do it really quickly and you wanted to take multiple courses per term, you could even finish sooner. You could finish in a little over a year if you really wanted to take a larger course load. Have you, what is I'll go ahead and ask Steve what his thoughts are on students who take multiple classes per term, if many students do that, or if you think that is something that can be difficult to handle from a time perspective.
I guess it really depends. This is going back more towards personal experience. I guess it would really depend on how your daily workload is. I mean, if you're a very busy person at work, then taking 2 classes a semester, you're going to have tests. You have to. There's projects in each one. You might find yourself really having no free or social time. But if you can, get some of the stuff done at work, if you have one of those sort of jobs where you're not sort of hands-on all day long, and you can get some reading done or those kinds of things, you probably could do 2 classes a semester. So it would really depend on what you want to do, or how your life is situated, and how much you want to commit to it. But I wouldn't say it's easy for anybody to do. I think you really have to make some decisions if you want to accelerate it and get it done in a year. Otherwise, then 18 months to 2 years is really achievable and reasonable.
Yeah, and that's the more realistic time frame that we see most of our students finish in. But occasionally, I do see some of those students who do complete it really quickly. So it is possible. It just depends on your particular situation. And I'll go ahead and answer the next 2 questions kind of together. It deals with transferring credits in, or if you took courses from us, are they transferable to other institutions? And the short answer is they generally, we do accept transfer credit in with restrictions, and generally we've seen our academic credits are transferable to other institutions. The restrictions, if you wanted to transfer some credit into our program, the stipulation would be is it would need to be from another college or university. It would have to be for academic credit. You'd have to get at least a letter grade of B or better, and you have to do this before you actually register for the certificate as a request to have credit transferred in. And you also would need to have completed that coursework within the last 5 years before you actually register for the certificate. So those are the stipulations, and they're all listed on the Student Services section of our website. So I'd welcome anyone to visit there. There's a lot of other helpful information in our Student Services section of the website to deal with other common questions that come up for students who are new to Extension. And as far as having academic credit transfer to another, let's say you were interested in possibly doing a master's program down the road in facilities management or a related field in the future, generally our coursework is accepted by other institutions, but the onus will always be on you to verify with the accepting institution that they would accept the credit prior to taking the courses. If it was really important to get those credits transferred, be sure you check that on the front end. So that kind of addresses most of the FAQs. Now we can kind of open it up to some of the other questions that have been sent in by some of the other participants today. And one question someone is asking, if they've been out of a classroom setting for 15 years, would it be a smooth transition to come back in to start this program and start taking courses again? So this is one I think that would be great for Steve to answer, because he probably experiences many people in the same situation frequently.
Yeah, I haven't really seen that as a problem for anybody. As I said, the classes are structured to cover the material, but it's a very rich class where lots of discussion. And so it's almost like being, in a conference in a lot of ways, because we're going through the material, but we're constantly talking about a lot of things. So I don't think that that would affect anybody negatively, having not been in any kind of an academic setting for 15 years. I mean, if you're intent on taking the class and you're interested in the class and you come to learn, I don't see any issues with having not been in a class for a while.
Fantastic. And what about as far as the workload itself? How many hours? That was another question I saw pop up earlier. Is how many hours of work do students usually need to commit for each week when they're thinking about balancing their schedules?
It's usually what I usually use as my rule of thumb is double the class time. So if we're doing 3 hours a night, then it's usually about 6 hours. And that's really dependent on the student. I mean, your study habits, how fast you pick up the material. If you have a lot of background, then it obviously becomes a little easier. And so, anywhere from, probably a minimum of 2 hours if you're a professional and have education and, you bring a lot to the table, maybe, 2 hours. If you're really stretching and trying to make a career change, or you want to learn what this is all about, it might take you 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours a week to kind of keep up. And then most of the classes, all the ones that I teach, have a project. So even if you could, study and review for the main part of the class, you still have a project that's due at the end. And so, that's going to add on there. So I would say 2 to 6 hours is routine for most students.
And another question that came in was talking about what types of career opportunities a certificate program from Berkeley unlocks. So what type of job opportunities are there after you complete the program? So usually what I would tell students is it's highly variable. We don't actually offer any career counseling, career guidance through our programs. Most of that experience will lie on whatever previous experience an individual has before entering the program. Obviously, what you learn helps you within your job, which then helps you get a promotion internally. And I would generally say Berkeley Extension is very well respected. So if employers see that you had received a certificate from an institution like Berkeley Extension, that's universally recognized by not only everyone in California, but Berkeley's name travels and has value even worldwide. So I would say a lot of what you gain is the knowledge you learn in the classes. It's very applied learning. You can take a lot of the lessons learned in the classroom one night and put them to work the following day in the work setting. And also the networks that you build within the classrooms. I've heard this time and time again from students, not just in the facilities program, but in construction and other programs, that is a really valuable aspect of our program is the networking opportunities provide a lot of career advancement opportunities as well, just because you know people who work in all these different companies, and you know when job opportunities come about if you're looking to have a step up and get a new job within the career. So that's usually what my response would be when students ask. Steve might have a slightly different take. So.
No, I think that's exactly right on point. The one part I wanted to sort of embellish a little bit upon is the networking piece. Because the way the program runs and we get such a diverse background of folks in the classes, that the complexity of each class kind of changes. So it's not going to be like you take the first class and it's the same 20 people all the way through your program. So it's those 20 people. Every class has, people will take a break. So if you're taking 2 classes a semester and somebody else is taking 1, you won't see them in your next class. Well, you'll get new people in there. So you really get almost this fresh networking opportunity. It's been my experience that there's usually a half a dozen or less of the same folks that you kind of know. And so that's comforting. It's like, hey, 3 or 4 people. But the rest of the class is really fresh faces and new people from new industries, new perspectives, and they're fresh in the program, so they bring a lot of enthusiasm to the program. So the networking is really terrific. You'll meet people from practically every industry. I mean, just almost everything from senior living homes, hospitals. I've had Pixar, Google, from very high tech to office managers to project managers, security guards, really just everything, and they work all over the Bay Area for all kinds of companies, and so you'll get a very rich networking opportunity in the program.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, that was a really good point that we didn't touch on earlier. Is our program is not cohort-based, so you can enter at any time, take a break, keep taking classes, so you'll always see new faces in all the classes. So fantastic. It looks like that pretty much wraps up all of the questions that we'd had sent in. If you have other questions that come up after the session, here's our contact information listed on the screen now. You can take note of this. We'll also send a copy of this presentation to everyone who registered. So if you can't take this down now, you'll have access to it in the future. And feel free to send through any questions that you might have if more arise after the fact. And I would also encourage everyone to go to our website. Our courses are always the ones that are available for enrollment. You can go online and find those out and enroll for anything that's available in the upcoming terms. So thank you all very much for attending, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.